Every day on this channel, I go through everything Elon said on X in the last 24 hours. And here's how many times Elon posted about each subject today. I will cover everything he said about each topic before moving on to the next one. And starting with SpaceX, we got a Starship lunar variant update. SpaceX said that Starship continues to simultaneously be the fastest path to returning humans to the surface of the moon, and a core enabler of the Artemis program's goal to establish a permanent, sustainable presence on the lunar surface. Elon said that Starship will build Moonbase Alpha, and Dima sort of breaks down the update. Starship is designed to establish a permanent presence beyond Earth, including lunar and planetary outposts. Chosen for NASA's Artemis program, it will land the first astronauts on the moon in over 50 years. Single Starship has over 600 cubic meters of pressurized volume, dual airlocks, and can land up to 100 tons of cargo. SpaceX is self-funding over 90% of Starship development, including production, test, and launch infrastructure. The core Starship system has completed numerous test milestones, including multiple flights, propellant transfers in space, and engine relights. The Human Landing System team has completed 49 milestones, including life support, landing software, Raptor engine tests, and extravehicular elevator and airlock demos. The next major steps are long-duration flight tests and on-orbit propellant transfer to enable Artemis lunar mission architecture. The Starship version 3 will be equipped with docking ports, Dragon Eye sensors, and on-orbit refueling capabilities. NASA selected Starship for Artemis 3 and 4 missions, ensuring a permanent return to the moon. Starship enables a sustainable, reusable, cost-effective path for frequent lunar missions and future Mars exploration. And Toby says, "This is the future I'm willing to dedicate my life towards." And Elon reposted it. Rose said the hope of our species to become multiplanetary, to weave our story across worlds, lies within beautiful Starship. Starship is the bridge from Earth's cradle to the cosmos' vast nursery. A reusable phoenix slashing costs, igniting frequency, sustaining life beyond one fragile blue marble. In its shadow, we see not just metal and flame, but the majestic arc of human destiny, unyielding, beautiful, and eternal. The future beckons. Let us meet our destiny beyond the starlit skies. And Elon reposted that as well. And Starship really is that spacious. Steve says, "I've climbed through the mock-up. Skylab comparison below. We can now establish a permanent human presence on the moon. Imagine seeing their lights from Earth each night, inspiring our spacefaring dreams." And as we learned yesterday from Elon, 100 people could fit inside Starship. And here's the inside of Starship brought to life with Grokipedia. And Luke says, "My takeaways from a skim." And you're probably wondering what it is that Luke is skimming. It is an update that was published on SpaceX's website titled "To the Moon and Beyond." He says, number 1, they're throwing strays at Sean Duffy. Number 2, Raptor 3 has been tested for an insane amount of time. Number 3, dare I human landing system subsystems are almost fully complete. The only major roadblock is refueling. And number 5, 100 plus tons to the lunar surface and 626 plus cubic meters. We are going back to the moon. And Elon says, correct. And then Luke quoted the article saying, Starship continues to simultaneously be the fastest path to returning humans to the surface of the moon. We've shared and are formally assessing a simplified mission architecture and a concept of operations that we believe will result in a faster return to the moon while simultaneously improving crew safety. Interesting. Luke said they're going to do the entire mission themselves, aren't they? Elon said it's the only way to build Moonbase Alpha. And Elon said, for a moon base name, Auda City? Or is it too loony? And then he posted Moonbase Alpha with Grokipedia bringing Destination Moonbase Alpha to life. So SpaceX's current large ambitions is a Moonbase Alpha on the moon, a Mars colony, data centers in orbit, which we'll get to, Starlink V3 bringing in faster speeds connecting even more of the world, 100 people on Starship, and point-to-point Earth travel. What else will they pursue? Space-based solar power to beam down to Earth, unmanned exploration of the outer planets, manned Ceres missions, large hundreds capacity space stations, and Elon reposted this. And this is the article I was referring to. Eric Berger posted it saying, this seems like a big deal. It's titled, Elon Musk on data centers in orbit. SpaceX will be doing this. So when Eric said that this seems like a pretty big deal, Elon said it is. And Eric goes on, he says, there's been a lot of debate about the viability of data centers in space. There are a lot of hurdles, but they do seem more plausible if autonomous construction is a thing. Elon said simply scaling up Starlink V3 satellites, which have high-speed laser links, would work. SpaceX will be doing this. And today, Falcon 9 launched 28 Starlink satellites to orbit from California. They have 10,000 Starlink satellites in orbit. They crossed that number last week. For context, the entire world launched around 8,700 total spacecraft in all of history before Starlink started. They're completing Starlink missions every 48 hours now. They just set a California pad turnaround record with 2 days and 10 hours between launches from the same facility. That's industrial scale space operations, not aerospace. And Elon reposted this. And Starlink Direct to Cell will be the first satellite to mobile service in the UK starting early 2026. The launch will enable data and messaging connectivity, underscoring our continued efforts to end mobile dead zones around the world. And this picture was taken on Mars earlier today, and Elon reposted it. And moving on to Tesla, Optimus was handing out some candy for Halloween recently. The Optimus account telling you to vote your shares. And breakfast at the Tesla diner is now available until 2 p.m. Elon says that the diner, the futuristic Tesla diner, is going well. Probably makes sense to open one near our headquarters in Giga Texas in Austin and engineering headquarters as well in Palo Alto. And Tesla Economics said that post from Elon should have burger joints worried. And Elon reposted that. And here was Kamala Harris on Elon Musk in a new interview that came out.
In the book, for example, I think it was a mistake to not invite Elon Musk. When we had, and I'm no fan of his, but I admire his work as an innovator, and as you know, what he has done in terms of American manufacturing of electric vehicles. We should have had him at the White House when we had all the other American electric vehicle manufacturers, right?
I think this is part of the problem. When I read that, I was really happy to read that, because you can disagree with someone in part, but still have the nuance to be able to acknowledge this part's good. But if you just shut them out because of one thing, then you really drive division.
And Elon replied to that saying, well, I appreciate the acknowledgement of that mistake. Yunta says that Elon created companies where you could bring futuristic dreams into the world without compromise. It is very fortunate we live in the same timeline. And Elon replied with a heart and a robotic arm. And Gavin Baker said, my firm, Atreides Management, will be voting in favor of Elon Musk's performance-based compensation package. And I would prefer that every company I invest in have a comparable plan. I believe shareholders should generally support thoughtfully structured performance-based CEO compensation packages because they incentivize CEOs to create transformational growth and value. The basic logic of these plans is the CEO gets 10% of the incremental value creation if they 10x the stock with a 2x hurdle. So shareholders get a 900% stock increase and the CEO gets an incremental 10%. The first Tesla plan incented Elon to 10x the value of Tesla. He achieved all of the milestones and may never be paid for this. The Axon plan incented Rick Smith to more than 5x the value of Axon, and he did. And when milestones aren't met, such as Farfetch, then the CEOs don't receive the payouts. The new Tesla plan is arguably better than the first, as it also includes financial and technological milestones in addition to market cap-based incentives. He goes on to say that, I believe it is highly likely that Tesla's stock would decline significantly should Elon leave, and even more should the Optimus team leave with him. If this compensation package is approved, I will be rooting for him as a shareholder as he works super hard to achieve the value-creating milestones that would benefit both him and shareholders. I do not know how other shareholders feel, but I would certainly like another 10x in Tesla and simply do not believe this is possible without Elon. Every vote matters because, from my perspective, many proxy voting firms are no longer primarily focused on shareholder value creation, and the corporate governance departments at many investment firms feel bound to follow their decisions. The silliness of their concerns about dilution are self-evident in that the dilution would only occur after substantial share price appreciation for Tesla. I want my 10x. And then he notes that his firm is an investor in many of Elon's companies. And Elon quoted him saying, much appreciated. And he also reposted a post from Muskonomy explaining that situation. And here's the Model Y performance from sketch to reality. Elon quoted this saying, "an amazing sports SUV." And he also posted the deep dive video that Tesla posted on their channel recently, again today, quoting it saying, "Model Y performance." And this headline reads that Waymo robotaxi kills one-of-a-kind bodega cat. Omar said 5.4 million cats are hit by cars every year in the US, and 97% of those cats die from their injuries. Autonomy will dramatically reduce that number. And Elon said, "True, many pets will be saved by autonomy." And Cybertruck says a knight needs its armor. If you want to get me the terrestrial armor package, you can now do so when placing your order for $3,000. Underbody battery shield and heavy-duty rock sliders for superior protection against rugged terrain, rough roads, and curbs. And Noland was the first Neuralink patient, and now he's unstoppable.
Honestly, I had no idea what Neuralink was when I applied. One of my buddies called me up one day and was like, "You want to get a chip in your brain?" I said, "Got nothing better to do." So I decided to apply over the phone with him, which is a pretty interesting juxtaposition of like where I was then. I wasn't even able to apply online. And so I did that, and by the grace of God, got in. My whole reason for doing it was just to help people from the beginning. I knew that if it worked, if it didn't, whatever the case may be, I would be helping someone. They would have learned something. And 4 months after I applied, I was getting brain surgery. So yeah, all happened pretty quickly.
And Elon said Noland might be the first to receive a Neuralink upgrade and or dual Neuralink implant to further augment his abilities. It won't be long before a Neuralink recipient can beat most and eventually all humans at fast reaction video games. So Noland quoted that saying, "Put me in, coach. I'm going to follow this guy." And Elon replied with a thumbs up. And moving on to XAI, this is what we've been seeing lately. The Grokipedia launch. A new version of Grok Imagine came out, as well as upscale video where you could render the videos in HD. We got a new Grok companion in Mika and a new outfit for Annie. We got images in response, and then coming soon is Imagine Extend Video, Text to Video, Imagine Remix, and Grok 420. And Elon reposted this. And this XAI employee says that XAI has the best food and drink, and Elon says it will get even better soon. And XFreeze shows you how to access Grok with one click. You just go to the top menu on grok.com and select File and click Add to Dock. And Grok is now saved as an app on your dock. Launch it instantly with one click every day. There it is right down there. And this is how fast Grok has evolved in 10 months. Data Republican says, "I like to evaluate language models by asking them to do SVG images." Why? Because SVG is a markup language. You have to reason around it. It's not generative AI photos. You have to write code that says, draw a circle for the cat's face, draw 2 triangles for the ear, and so on. You have to be able to describe what a cat looks like at an abstract level. The left is Grok creating an SVG of a Siamese cat from December 2021. The right is Grok creating a SVG of a Siamese cat today, 10 months later, and there's the difference for you guys. And if you guys want to suggest an edit on Grokipedia, just highlight the text and hit Suggest Edit. And suggestions are reviewed and integrated to improve accuracy of the articles. And Dan, he works at X, and he says, "Everyone please do me a favor and go read the Grokipedia page about type 1 and type 2 errors. This is a critical concept to understanding X and the world around you, and yet many people are unaware of the terms. Thank you for your attention to this matter." Elon said false positive and false negative are better terms. And Yuchin says that Sam Altman still owns 0 OpenAI shares. Even if OpenAI goes public, he basically earns nothing. Maybe we shouldn't laugh at that "I'm doing this because I love it" meme anymore. Elon said that Altman took a piece of almost every successful company that wanted a relationship with OpenAI. His stakes in those companies are worth tens of billions. Moreover, he is just waiting for my lawsuit against OpenAI to be over to receive the same $30 billion or so in stock that Brockman was given. And moving on from politics, and viewer discretion is advised, this headline reads that a dispute between rival trans groups leads to shocking mass suicide attempt. A long-standing feud came to a head when 24 trans people tried to take their own lives. Elon quoted this and said suicide risk increases massively for people who undergo sex change operations. Would you rather have a live daughter or a dead son due to suicide? Is a question to convince parents to approve child mutilation is the most evil lie ever told. Also, many deaths due to failed surgeries. And it appears that hackers have taken over the University of Pennsylvania computer systems, calling the college a dog shit elitist institution full of woke retards, and threatening to release evidence of its discriminatory admissions practices. Elon said the Graduate School of Education doesn't know how computers work. And the main representative, Dika Dalek, says that our goal is to help our country of Somalia.
Policies, how can the politics in Somalia can be, resonate what we have here in the United States, the democracy that we have. How can you help us, be a better country and build back what we used to have back in long time ago? So hopefully we will be able to help our country, our former country, Somalia.
So Elon replies to that saying, And Data Hazard says the breadth of Alejandro Mayorkas' global human importation program remains underappreciated. He flew them in from every random country in the world with no legal or even humanitarian justification. And you can see how many were coming in from Somalia. And Elon reposted this. And Matt Van Swoel says it has been revealed that one of the suspects arrested for beating an 18-year-old employee of a food line in Charlotte, North Carolina has been arrested a stunning 11 previous times. Yes, you read that right, 11. His previous arrests including violently assaulting a woman. Elon said failing to incarcerate repeat violent offenders is an incredibly cruel thing to do to their future victims. And the third suspect in the murder of D.C. congressional intern Eric Jakim is also linked to another killing just 5 days later. Elon said to state the obvious, failure to incarcerate serial killers results in innocent people dying. And Roberta Arella, an illegal immigrant landlord in western North Carolina, has just been arrested after beating one of his tenants to death with a baseball bat last night. The victim died protecting multiple women from Roberta. Elon said, yikes. The rabbit hole says, just arrest the criminals. The majority say crime must be addressed by systemic approaches and researching root causes, whereas the idiots of the world and the geniuses among us say that arrest criminals, lower crime. Usually the most simple answer is correct, and Elon says 100. Here's another disturbing story. Elon responds with 2 exclamation marks. And an Uber driver was fatally killed by the passenger because she wanted to take the car for a joyride, and the body was left in a field. Elon again responds with 2 exclamation marks. And it was on this day in 2017 when a man who won Bush's diversity visa lottery rewarded America's generosity by renting a Home Depot truck and ramming it into the largest group of white people he could find in Lower Manhattan. 8 were killed, and Elon responded with an exclamation mark. And in London, a mother of 3 was murdered by a homeless man that she took in. Another innocent Brit killed by a man who should never have been on our streets. When will this government start protecting its own people? Elon said suicidal empathy is very real. And earlier this year, an Afghan asylum seeker attacked a group of toddlers in a German park. Without remigration of hostile invaders and replacement of anti-white judges and politicians, this nightmare will become our daily reality. And Elon reposted it. And J.D. Vance posted this 3 hours ago. I suppose that's his Halloween costume. Elon had a laugh at that one. And it was on this day 17 years ago that Satoshi Nakamoto published the Bitcoin white paper. Elon said money is an information theory problem. And Jason Calacanis from the All In podcast talks about Elon Musk in this clip.
Elon makes it sound like it's torture, his whole journey, but he can't.
Having been a witness to it, just as friends for that long, I have never seen an entrepreneur suffer more than him. And, he's been public about that. Like, you do not want to be me. He has suffered for those companies. He has suffered to get them where they are. It has not been easy.
Can you psychoanalyze Elon in that aspect? Like, is it just he can't help it? He must see the change that he hopes for in the world?
He's just incredibly hardworking. And he's very talented as well. And I don't think people understand that. He actually is a really brilliant engineer. At the end of the day, he actually knows what he's doing, and he asks the right questions. I mean, people were kind of aghast that he was asking Vlad such good questions. Yeah. And they're like, oh my God, Elon's the best journalist on the planet. And it was like,
that's what
kind of anybody who knows Elon knows he asks great questions. I mean, I used to have dinner in LA And my book agent also was Sam Harris's agent. And Sam and I met through John Brockman, and we became friends because we lived near each other, and I was friends with Elon. And then I used to invite them to both dinner in Brentwood because one lived in Bel Air, one lived in Santa Monica, and I lived in Brentwood. And we would go to this place, Popone, this Italian restaurant. And every Tuesday for years, we would just, the three of us, every other Tuesday or so, we'd have dinner. And I'd sit there, and Sam wanted to know about AI, and Elon's talking about artificial intelligence because he's on the board of DeepMind. And Elon wanted to know about atheism and meditation and all this other stuff that, Sam was an expert on. I got to sit there and like just listen to these two guys talk. And
they have both piercing intelligences, but Elon, he goes straight to the gut. Like the questions that no engineer wants to hear is like just the basic stuff that it's like, why the hell are you doing it this way?
Yeah.
When the obvious solution is like much easier or this or that, like, why haven't you tried this?
He can figure things out. I mean, he's a problem solver.
And Elon reposted that. And there's Jason Calacanis now, I guess a couple years later. And today they did a 90-minute podcast with bestie Elon. But hold up, that's not even the only podcast that Elon released today. He also released a 3-hour podcast with Joe Rogan. So that's almost 5 hours of Elon podcast that dropped today. And so I'm sure you guys can guess as to why I waited to the end of this video to tell you that, because now you guys are going to go and watch those. But to summarize what Elon said in this video, he's very, very clear about moon base alpha, that SpaceX will take us there 100 people at a time. And he's also very serious about data centers in orbit. Sam Altman is still going to get his billions from OpenAI, and Elon is really, really good at asking questions, apparently. I mean, I've heard stories about how he learned about rockets in the first place, just going to these space conventions and cornering the smartest guys and just grilling them with questions. But go and enjoy those podcasts. There's one on Joe Rogan, one on the All In podcast. And if you guys want early access to these videos every single day, you can gain access by joining the channel as a member. And I will see you guys tomorrow.